Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. We're opening a new Masechta, Masechta Nedarim. Very exciting. It's a short Masechta. Short in, it's only 90 block compared to Ksubas, almost a little shorter, but also because the Ran takes up a lot of space in place of Tosfos, and therefore there's less words, less room on the actual page of the Gemara for the words of the Gemara. So therefore, the document a lot shorter. I want to talk about fundamental machlokas in the Rush and the Ran over here. About neder. What is a neder? A neder is something where you take a vow, you forbid something upon yourself. For example, I have coffee over here. Now, what type of coffee in here? You don't know what type of coffee I have in here. It could be a latte. It could be an espresso. You don't know. Probably wouldn't be an espresso if it's a big cup. Although I could fill it up very little. But I didn't buy this from a store. I bought these cups at the Makolet. It makes me feel fancy. I have cups like this with a covering, You can sip it like you bought it at a store. It's only 1 shekel a cup. It's supposed to go in a store. It's like 15 shekel for a coffee. And it's bigger, 12 ounces, than the standard 8-ounce cups here. Anyway, so the machlokes in the Rush and the Ran is fundamental machlokes. The Ran says when you take a neder, you can just say, this coffee is osher to me. That's a regular neder. It says in the Gemara. The Rush says, no, you have to connect it to a korban. You have to say, this coffee is osher to me like a korban. Now, what is the source of their machlokas, right? So I'd like to suggest it's based on what the Gemara on the Beis one base says, that Nedarim, as opposed to Shavuos, are considered an Isra Chefsa. Isra Chefsa is made famous by the Brisker Rav, Rav Chaim Brisker, I think. He makes the distinguishes between a Isra Chefsa and Isra Gabra. Isra Chefsa means that the actual object, the coffee in here, is actually Asr itself. Or an Isra Gavra means there's nothing particularly usher about the coffee. It's that the Torah warns me and says, don't get close to that coffee, don't drink that coffee. There's nothing inherently kadosh about that coffee. There's nothing inherently holy about that coffee or forbidden about that coffee. You can say the same, chakira investigation by all these surim in the Torah. Let's say it says, no, don't eat chametz on Pesach, for example, right? Don't eat chametz. Is the actual chametz isr bechefsa? It's an usher in the chayfetz of the actual chametz is asr, or the Torah says you be marking yourself from chametz, do distance yourself from chametz. There's nothing particularly special about this chametz. It's just the Torah says on Pesach don't eat it. So I would like to suggest this is really what the Ran and the Rush are arguing about, because neder is called an Isser Chefsa. The Ran says, right, when I just say this coffee is asr to me, that's already an Isser Chefsa. Nedarim are special. They're an Isser Chefsa. Nedarim are Isser Chefsa. The Rush says, no. The Rush says that the concept of Isra Chefsa has to be like a korban. Now, we're learning Musagas Orla and Mishnayos, and in the past couple of days in Iyun Mitzion, which I give an Iyun shir on the Mishnah Yomi also, we've been talking about the two different types of Isra Hana. There's an Isra Hana, like it mentions in the beginning of the second parak of Maseches Pesachim, which the Machlokas in Ula and Chizkiah, right? How do you know that Chametz is Asr B'Hana, not just B'Achila, Hana also? Anytime it says Bal Tochlu, Bal Yochal, anytime one opinion says that anytime it says Achila, Isra Hana B'Mashma, it's included Isra Hana. The other opinion says it's a special Lashon by Chametz, it says Yachelu, Tochelu, right? It's like a reflexive language over there, so it includes Isra Hana. Also, whatever the idea is, but by Chametz, really the Isra Hana, right? I can't eat Chametz, obviously, but also I can't get benefit from Chametz. That's what the Gemara says. I can't get benefit from Chametz to use it to light my stove or to smear oil of chametz. If I would have oil of chametz, I don't know if that's possible. You can't use it to anoint yourself or put it on your as on your makkah. If you have a wound, in order to heal your wound, the Gemara says you shouldn't put it on. To get any benefit from it, derive any benefit is asr. But the idea of the isser or hana over there is that you shouldn't come to eat it. It's like zera d'oraisa, like the Mesilas Yesharim makes famous in his sefer. He says that really the idea by a Nazir that not only can he drink wine, but he also can't eat the peels of grapes, and he can't have the pits of grapes. Why are those usher? There's no taste, doesn't taste like grapes over there. It doesn't taste like wine. The idea is because if you come to eat those, you might come to violate the Isser D'Oraisa of drinking wine. So it's a Gzera D'Oraisa. It's a Gzera D'Oraisa. The Isser Hana is a Gzera D'Oraisa. You shouldn't get benefit from it, because if you're allowed to get benefit, you might come to eat it, which is really the main Isser over there. That's one type of Isra Hana. Then we discussed by Maseches Orla, there's a new type of Isra Hana, where the Isser Hana is because of the Kedusha, and this is what it is by Karbanos, really, that anytime something is called Kadosh, right, the Gemara talks about the sar of the Nazir, the hair of the Nazir, it's called Kadosh. God Kadosh Yeh Gadol Pera Sarosho. You cut off his hair at the end of his Nazir, it's called Kadosh, Kedusha. Kedusha, as I like to talk about all the shiurim I give, we're giving a shiur about marriage, about intimacy in marriage, Binyan Habayis. We're just starting this book, giving the intro shiur today, later today. Kedusha means not that I should avoid the physical, but that I should use the physical in the right moment, that I should enjoy it the most, that I should enjoy it, I should make sure to treat it with Kedusha, to treat it with respect, that I should be able to savor the enjoyment as much as possible. And that's why Orla, the first 3 years, you're not supposed to benefit from the fruit, not because even Hanab, you might come to eat it. That's not the problem. The problem is that if I partake of the fruit for the first 3 years, it doesn't taste as good the first 3 years. It needs 5 years to mature. So the Torah says, wait, don't ruin your enjoyment. It's like if you're having a big meal and you eat bread before the steak, right? You fill up on bread before the steak. It's terrible because you could have enjoyed the steak, and now you can't eat anymore because you fill yourself up on bread when you go out to a fancy restaurant. Same thing by Orla, right? Keep it kadosh, savor the moment. That's the Isser Hana over there. The Isser Hana is to keep it kadosh, to keep it sanctified. Now by karbanos, it's called kedusha. It's always called kadosh by karbanos. Karbanos are called kadosh. The idea of a neder really originates from korban. When you take a neder, I'm being makdish, I'm taking achrayus to bring a korban to the Beis Hamikdash. It's different than neder and a dava, but both of them are karbanos and that's kedusha. So according to the Rush, getting back to our Masech, the Rush says every type of neder, right? If it's an Isser Chefsa, the Gemara calls Nedarim Isser Chefsa. If it's Isser Chefsa, right? That's what he's saying. Basically, like my chiluk. The Rush seems to make according to my chiluk. If it's the Isser Hana, right? If you just said aser, this coffee is aser, right? That's like chazir. That's like chametz, right? The reason chazir technically maybe you could get benefit, but chametz you can't get benefit. The reason I can't get benefit, Nedarim it's an hana also. You can't get benefit. The reason I can't get benefit is because I might come to eat it. It's the only reason. The reason I can't get benefit from it is because it's special. It's kadosh, right? It's like a korban. You matfis to a korban. You gave it kedusha almost of a korban. We'll discuss to what extent you gave it kedusha of a korban, but you gave it kedusha of a korban. So that's what the Rush says. Only then can it be considered an Isser Chefsa, because in Isser Hana, it's an Isser Chefsa. If the Isser Hana is just I shouldn't come to eat it, normally Achila is the Isser on the Gavra, right? I shouldn't eat, I take a shul, I'm not going to eat something, or don't eat Chazir, right? There's nothing, right? Usr, the word Usr means you're tied down. It doesn't mean there's inherently something wrong with the Chazir. I mean, mutter means they were matir, or the Chacham were able to matir, to find a way to make it mutter. Usr means you're just bound. Doesn't mean that there's actually something wrong with the Chazir. So with pig, it's a big revelation I'm telling you, but there's nothing really wrong with it. So it have to be like a korban. In order to be called an Isser Chefsa, it has to be the type of hana where it's like an Isser korban. Therefore, you have to be mabuz a korban to call a neder to call an Isser Chefsa, where the thing actually has kedusha, where you want to use it in the right way and savor its enjoyment in the right situation. That's why people take nedarim on themselves, so that they make sure it's a safeguard for people, right? They shouldn't come to use it in a way which, machal the kedusha, where you use it in a way you're not savoring the kedusha, not savoring the enjoyment. According to the Ran, however, the Ran says that even if you say this coffee is asr, even when that's comparing it to a korban, it's asr, that's still called an Isser Chefsa, as opposed to a shvua, which is an Isser Gavra. So according to the Ran, we're left a little bit in the gray over here, because I would say the Rush makes a lot of sense. There's a difference between Isser Gavra and Isser Chefsa in terms of two types of Isurei Hana, as I mentioned. According to the Ran, we're left a little bit in the dark over here. The Ran seems to say that no, it's possible that certain types of Isser Hana, right, certain types of food that are Asr, are already called an Isser Chefsa over here, and just saying this is Asr over here, and Neder is already makes an Isser Chefsa. Maybe the Ran could agree that in Isser Chefsa, Chazir would also be called an Isser Gavra, and this is called an Isser Chefsa. We have to work on this Ran a little bit to explain why just saying this is Asr on me. The word Asr means tied down. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. Why would they make it Isser Chefsa? The Rush seems like a little more sense. We'll talk more about this Ran going forward. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.